What if one small habit is quietly destroying your confidence without you even realizing it? Think about the last time someone asked you a simple question. Did you give a quick answer? Or did you find yourself adding more details, more excuses, and more explanations long after the conversation should have ended? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people overexplain every day, but psychology suggests it's rarely because they talk too much. In fact, overexplaining is often a hidden survival response that develops over years. And once you understand why your brain does it, you'll never look at your conversations the same way again. Imagine texting someone, then immediately sending 3 more messages, just to make sure they didn't misunderstand you, or saying no to an invitation, then spending 5 minutes explaining every reason you can't go. Even though no one asked for an explanation, it may feel polite, but beneath the surface, your brain could be chasing something much deeper than good manners. One of the biggest reasons people overexplain is the fear of being misunderstood. Some people believe that if every tiny detail isn't perfectly explained, others might judge them, reject them, or think the worst of them. So instead of trusting that their words are enough, they keep adding more and more information, hoping to control how they're perceived. Ironically, the harder they try to sound convincing, the less confident they often appear. Truly confident people usually don't feel the need to prove every decision they make because they trust themselves, even when others don't fully understand them. But this habit doesn't appear overnight. For many people, it begins much earlier in life. Growing up in an environment where they were constantly criticized, blamed, ignored, or forced to defend themselves can teach the brain that every action needs a detailed explanation to stay safe. Over time, the brain turns this into an automatic habit. Even after those stressful situations are gone, the mind keeps reacting as if every conversation is a courtroom where it has to present evidence before it can be accepted. Another hidden reason behind overexplaining is the need for approval. When your self-worth depends too much on what other people think, every decision starts feeling like something that needs permission. Instead of simply saying, "I can't make it," you begin listing your schedule, your responsibilities, and every possible reason, hoping the other person won't be disappointed. But healthy relationships don't require endless justifications. People who genuinely respect you don't expect you to defend every choice you make. Here's something even more surprising. Overexplaining often creates the exact opposite impression you want. While you may believe you're making yourself sound more trustworthy, other people can unconsciously interpret constant explanations as uncertainty or insecurity. When someone repeatedly defends themselves without being questioned, listeners sometimes wonder if there's actually something to defend. That's why psychologists often say, confidence isn't measured by how much you say. It's measured by how comfortable you are leaving some things unsaid. Silence can communicate confidence just as powerfully as words. So how do you break this habit? The next time you catch yourself adding unnecessary details, pause for just a moment and ask yourself one simple question. Am I explaining this because it's helpful or because I'm afraid of being judged? That single question can completely change the way you communicate. Start practicing shorter answers. Let people ask follow-up questions if they genuinely need more information. Accept that not everyone will agree with you, and that's perfectly okay. You don't need to convince everyone in order to deserve respect. The more you trust your own decisions, the less you'll feel the need to explain them. Over-explaining isn't a personality flaw, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. For many people, it's simply an old survival strategy that no longer serves them. Once you recognize it, you can begin replacing fear with confidence, one conversation at a time. And that may be one of the most powerful psychological shifts you'll ever make. If this made you see yourself in a new way, subscribe for more psychology videos that reveal the hidden patterns shaping your thoughts, emotions, and everyday behavior.